Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton and Adam here as we are weekly. Today on a Wednesday, we had to shift it because some of the staff had other things to do, and we appreciate you joining us. But we do have an action-packed show tonight. We've got spotter Jordan Buster joining us along with Aaron Turkey and Matt Williamson, two of the hottest drivers on dirt, going to join us to talk about what's going on. Right off the top, Adam, I want to remind everybody as soon as we are done here at 9 p.m. Eastern, click on the Rev TV Canada where we'll be featuring Full Force presented by GeForce TV, featuring last Friday night's Wild Night at the Big O, and we'll talk a bit about that with Aaron Turkey. But what a wild night, Adam. You know, the track's still a story. We'll talk a bit about that. We'll talk about the wild crashes. We'll talk about the crashes that were caused not by the speedway surface. And we'll talk about Aaron Turkey's wild crash. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm a little tired, but I'm all right. A little traumatized by being attacked by birds this week, but, you know. All in the name of a fun week.
Right off the top, Wesley Shaw says, hey, evening all. Congrats to Westbrook. Yeah, on the SOS kickoff Saturday. But good luck to Adam on the weigh-in Friday. Bring those bananas with you. So if you're new to the program, Adam started a weight loss challenge with our flagger at Oshweekend, Dave Huntsinger. And the deal was, between us, I said I'd eat one banana for every pound Adam can lose. And I hate bananas for the record, so I'm going to choke every one of them down. But here's the other thing. I protest this thing already, and I don't want to be a whiner, Adam, but just like you said 2 weeks ago in the mini stock race at Oshweekend, that Lubeck should be mad because the race should have ended on lap 15, not lap 16. So you avoided the weigh-in 2 weeks ago. You've had 2 more weeks to train, and you've been pouring it on every day at work, putting extra hours in. So I'm not trying to protest. I'm just saying if it was a race, you'd be DQ'd 13 days ago.
I've got a compromise. It wasn't supposed to be opening day. It was going to be the second race. It was supposed to be last Friday. So we got an extra 7 days. Here is my compromise to you. I only want you to eat 2 bananas. But I want to have a videographer on hand and a photographer on hand so that I can create a video, put it to music to be shown at a later date. That's fair. 2 bananas.
I only accept that compromise if you forgo all rights now and future for saying I reneged on the bet, because that
I will never.
Because I'll choke 40 of them down to prevent you from being able to say that.
Listen, let me video you eating a banana and put it to the stereotypical 80s porn soundtrack. And I will be happy for the rest of my life. I promise.
Well, I can see everybody in the background getting excited. All right.
Wow.
I'm excited to see how you guys made out anyways. In all seriousness, it was for a good cause. You guys did get out. You ran a 5K, part of the Round the Bay race. I mean, you guys gave your all, so that's cool. Now, we'll figure that out come Friday. But I ate one a couple weeks ago, and I sent you. And I'm like, look at man, the one was tough.
Yeah. So, in the grand scheme of things, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people kind of join in along the way, and we really are. Racing is a big family, like it or not. You have to acknowledge that it is, and this has been a good experience for people wanting to get a little bit healthier. So, no matter what. Dave and I are both much healthier than we were at the start, and I'm glad I did it. I started at 322 pounds. Dave started at 254 pounds. So we will see where we're at on Friday.
Right on. What a wild weekend, Adam. No matter where you went to see racing, you probably saw some amazing racing and some craziness. I mean, Oshweekend, Delaware, the Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600, everything in the middle. I mean, the dirt series we're talking about Matt and Matt going at it down south. Wild stuff. What a crazy weekend. Your thoughts as we wait for Aaron Turkey to join us here?
Memorial Day weekend is one of the best racing weekends of the year, if not the best racing weekend. And I'm not a big F1 fan, Clint, particularly not the Monaco Grand Prix. Like that's one of my least favorite races, but it's my one that I try to watch. just because of tradition. So it's just a big day. Bit of a bummer with NASCAR having so much rain on the weekend, but I thought that Indy 500 was phenomenal. I found it really enjoyable to watch. I have great respect for what they did at the end of the race, getting the fans a green flag finish.
Yeah,
they should be
I will
commended.
talk about that. And I'm hearing the announcers say, "Well, they can't do it." I'm like, "Why can't we? Like, you can't go through a race like we had on Sunday with that a level of excitement and let them pace around for 3 laps at the end with that crowd and what you've built all day. That would have been a travesty. So I'm glad whoever pulled that switch up in the tower made that happen because you owed that to the fans at that point."
It was a savvy move in the tower and a ballsy move, Clinton, truthfully, because that does buck tradition. It's something they had never done before. And I think it caught a lot of fans off guard. A lot of fans didn't realize in IndyCar you can start racing as soon as the leader fires. So people thought they had to stay in line, almost like a sprint car race. And I actually did some digging. You can search the IndyCar rules, and the rules say as soon as the leader goes, it's time to go race, and you can do your thing.
Yeah, a couple things in the chat. We see Aaron Turkey getting set up. Albert just says, "What do you think about the crowds at local tracks? Why are they so small?" I think it depends on where you're going. I also think it has. We talk about this a lot, Adam. I think a lot of it depends on car count. I think we were down. The crowd rush weekend was a little bit light on Friday. I would say that, but the backgate crowd was still massive. But I think if you're only getting 6 or 10 cars, your crowd is going to be lighter than if you've got 25 or 30 in every class. There's definitely a huge difference there.
We're at a point in history where tracks and track promoters have to step up. You've got to put on a show because you almost don't want fans to show up if you're not going to entertain them. Like the bar is set high. When you get them, you got to make them want to come back. Everything has to work together, right? So I don't think the crowds at local tracks are so small. I mean, Sunset for the Pinty's race was the biggest crowd I've ever seen there for the Pinty's race. CTMP for the Sunday of Victoria Day weekend, the biggest crowd they ever had there. So I think that the good are getting gooder and the weak are getting weaker. I do believe that.
Right on. Let's get Aaron Turkey on. Aaron was racing on Friday night, had a wild crash. And Aaron, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty sore, but I'm feeling pretty confident about this Friday. I got very lucky. I hit really hard, and I don't have no concussion symptoms or nothing. No dizziness or nothing. So other than being sore from the belts, I'm pretty good.
Aaron, a lot of concussion issues are kind of a pride factor where people don't want to say, if they got their bell rung or if the lights went out. How important is it to you to take that seriously? You've got a young family. How important is it to you to make sure you're 100% when you strap into a race car like a sprint car?
It's very crucial. Back in 2019 when me and Dustin Daggett got back together, like when we went into turn 1 and he cut down, we that really rung my bell hitting sideways at that force, and leading up in the following weeks, I really felt like a headache that was constant around the crown of my head, and knowing the symptoms of having a mild concussion and having a severe one. This time around, it was mostly all my seatbelts that took the brunt of it, and I feel pretty well, and I feel very confident about getting back in the car this Friday.
Here's a look. This is actually Chantarelli's video from the barn, from the VIP suites, and this is our cameras. It was in the worst spot for our cameras to catch it. But here's Aaron on the inside, catches Corey Turner's tire and goes up, and wow! And that was about the end of the video because Chantel was already running down the stairs. But slow it down if you can, Spencer. Aaron, talk us through what happened from your seat.
Coming to that restart, I was caught in the middle. Then I seen Glenn pass me, and obviously Corey got it on the inside, and I went to go follow Corey on the bottom, and I seen him straighten out just a little bit, and I thought I was going to be able to clear him, but at the point, I just realized it was too late and caught his right rear. When I turned right, when my front end went up in the air and I turned right, I knew it was going to be bad. I knew Glenn was above us, and the last thing I recall before flipping violently, I seen the number 0 in a white and blue car right there at my right front, and I knew we were both in it.
I've never seen a sprint car explode like yours did. Like the front end just vanished when after you got in the air and got Glenn. What hurt more, the impact with Glenn's car or landing?
Um, I would say my pride really wrecking both cars. Taking us both out. It was a hard impact. The first one when Glenn hit me, he kind of flipped me really fast, and then the second one I landed on the cage on the top left here, and that's the one that really hurt me. It dug into the ground, and obviously my belt held me into the seat, and my body I felt my head wanting to keep going, and that's kind of why I took a moment to get out of the car. I knew it was a pretty bad one when I thought I was done flipping, and then I was stuck up in the air. Then I come down and seeing the down tubes going into each other. I knew there was really nothing left of the car, so I just took my time.
Now, Aaron, you watch those cars be built in the back shop. You know how much time went into them. How were they performing? Like, how are these cars? It's obviously untested. You've had 2 weeks on it. How are they working out before you guys got into it? And again, a lot of people are going to say the track was rough. Track was rough opening week, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It's come a long way in a week. I think it's going to be even better this week. But, that was just a racing deal, right? That was not an incident. But how are the cars running for you guys before this incident?
I would feel very confident with them running at Maryville, testing at Maryville. The car felt really fast. I was turning some pretty good laps there. Then in my hot lap session on Friday, I was second quickest in the heat. So I felt very confident with the setup I had. Is this they they're trying different things with the track. I knew they kept the middle very slick. I don't know if you guys seen it, but going into turn 3 on the very first lap, I kind of got caught in the middle, and I almost went backwards and kind of parked it right in front of Travis Cunningham. And then again, coming back to that restart with those double file restarts, it's really tough picking if you want to go high or low. And obviously I picked the wrong side there. And the track was really good. And like you said, it was just a racing incident. I, being the car behind the other car, I obviously should have hit a little bit more brake, or obviously lifted a little bit more. But yeah, I feel like these cars are performing really well. It sucks I destroyed 2 cars with us on Friday, but we got our cars pretty much back together, and we're ready to give her again.
You know what, Aaron, that's just part of the game, right? And to your point, you were racing aggressively, and you have to. You've got to be on the offensive in a sprint car. Will it be challenging at all Friday when you push off for your first heat to get your head back in the game? Like, does it take you any time at all, or is it just get back out there and hit it hard?
I think I just got to get back in the car and tie my bike, tying my belts to back down, and just get back on it. Back in, I think 2018 when I flipped, early 2019 when I flipped in my crate car, I had a real bad wreck at South Buxton, and I actually, I hurt my neck as well that time. And to come back the Friday in a 360, I just put the pedal to the metal, and I think I led about 5 laps that night. So I'm just gonna have the same mentality. I just can't be scared of it. I know it is part of the game, and just rebuild and get back out there. And as soon as we roll off, I think I'll be okay. It's it's a thrill, and I know that's probably hopefully the worst crash I see this year, and nothing but success after this. It sucks being kind of highlighted for the wrong reasons.
Let's highlight you for some of the better reasons. Aaron, I've had the pleasure to attend 2 of our school visits with you this year. You came out to one today in Six Nations. It's kind of cool to get out to Emily, see General Elementary School, and see all the kids. We talked about this afterwards. You've kind of seen this program grow. in the community and surrounding areas, we talk about the response. I usually ask these kids, put up your hand if you've been to the races, and we're shocked to see the response. Maybe let some of the fans and viewers know, like, this is kind of cool when we go out and do this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really well that we do it. When we went to Hagersville about a month ago with the brand new car and having all these kids, like you mentioned earlier, we asked how many have been to the races, and 3/4 of the kids put their hands up and they heard about what we do here. And again, coming to the schools on the reserve, a lot of the kids live in the area, they can hear the cars, but half of them never made it to the speedway. So having us go to school, I think it's you know, opening their eyes to what is making the noise and how cool they are. And we do have really good entertainment here, right on Six Nations.
Spencer, show the school videos. I'll throw it over to Adam. Not videos, but we have pictures from the Hagersville school. That's the black car there. No, that's from today. The other picture I would have seen. Adam, go ahead. And then I just want to ask Aaron about NASCAR. Adam, go for it.
that was a tough one.
That was the worst transition ever.
Hey, it's all good, man. I actually found so I'm in sales, and I stopped into a business today, and someone at the counter said, "You work at Ashweekon?" And they never know it from seeing me, but when I start to talk, that voice sounds familiar. Do you get recognized, Aaron, out and about in Ashweekon?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm the race car driver, I guess you could say, as general. But yeah, it's good. Seeing again the kids see, like you said, you're behind the mic all the time, but I'm actually I guess behind the number, right? You only really see me on whether I get Top Gun or whatever else in the interviews, but a lot of kids know my name and know the number 68, and I'm glad that they're noticing that there's opportunities here in the community, whether they want to do automotive or like how you guys are doing with the media and the promotion. And there is options out there. And coming to this racing deal, there's people that love being at the front gate, selling tickets, promoting, and being all a part of the. So I really hope like a lot of more kids come out and enjoy the summer while they're off for 2 months, and find passion like we have.
Well, Aaron, let's talk about your Pinty's plans. You won the qualifying night or the hot lap challenge on the Monday last year. What are your plans when the Pinty series comes back for the Monday, Tuesday? Have you locked down a deal yet?
Yeah, I've been in talks with Howie Scannell, and I'll be running hopefully with the 99 again. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity once again to get back in the car. And they got really good equipment, and also we had a really, really good setup last year. I just when it came to the actual Pinty's day, I gotta make sure I get out and qualifying a little bit sooner. It seems like the track, the first session has really good lap times, and then if you're in the second one, it kind of falls off. So on the hot lap challenge, we made sure we're out there right away. And this time around we'll have I guess a better tactic coming into it. And you know going from open wheel cars and obviously having wrecks like I have last Friday from touching wheels, I feel like I need to jump in maybe a full fender car before I get back in a Pinty's car. I know there isn't really no give and take in them. I found that out really quick last year, with the door rubbing and getting pushed into the corner. So I feel like mentally I just got to make sure I'm more aggressive once I get back in there and make the passes I was doing late in the race last year. And I feel like we should be in a pretty good position coming around August.
You can get a lot closer to the cars you're racing with. You don't have to worry about a right rear when you drive into the corner, right? You've got the weapon because you've got the front bumper. So it's all in your mind. So just know what tools you got in your drawer and go out there and get you some.
Yeah, exactly. And I've being out there with like legends like Kenny Schrader and Glenn and all the rest of the Pinty stars, it was a very great opportunity to be just in the lineup, really. And I had no idea that we were going to turn some quick laps there the first night. And once they said we were P1, it felt surreal. And I just tried my hardest to take it all in. The 2 days of racing, sure it is. We do a lot of laps, but it sure does go quick. So to think it's almost going to be that time again here in a couple months is crazy. I know the summer flies by during race season, so again, just trying to take my time and enjoy it all.
Right on. Thanks, Aaron, for being with us tonight. Get some rest. You got a couple days of thrashing and then back at it Friday.
Yeah, I just got again just thank the guys at GSR for building the safe car. The cockpit, did his job, and I'm here talking to you guys, and we already got another car lined up, and we're gonna be back at it hopefully Friday, and hopefully better results this time. So thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Clint, I chatted with Aaron a little bit on the Saturday, and I think a lot of people did. I know my son Connor did as well. Like a lot of people just checking in. But I said to him then, I said, you were absolutely right to take your time. You're in the car, you're sort of taking inventory of what hurts and take all the time you need, right? That's one of those moments where, and Paul's comments, you're absolutely right, Paul. 45 minutes is too long for a mini stock feature. I think if you take the body of work over the course of a season, you'll find that's an exception more than it is the rule. They normally get things in relatively quickly. I mean, it's a clean race, but same thing. We had that Nick Erskine incident. He was upside down, so it's going to take some time. But as a driver, take the time you need to gather your senses before you go hopping on out.
Yeah, I can agree to that, Adam. It's not like we haven't had discussions, you, myself, Doug Leonard, about ways to tighten up the program, make things faster at Oshweekend when we have so many cars. We talked about potential of going to 2 semis, where instead of 4 heats, we have 2, almost like motocross, 2 semi-motos, and then we come back with one last chance qualifier. I think there's some wild stuff, though, like a lot of accidents in that mini stock race. But what can you do, though, Adam? Even if you put a time limit on it and then, something freak happens and you lose 20 minutes and everybody gets 1 lap, well, that's not really fair. I mean, I think, like you said, the body of work over the course of the season, and I think that's why we're so proud of our Oshweekend safety team, is not necessarily the hustle when it's a dangerous situation, but the hustle at all times. So even if it's pushing a car, getting someone clear, I think our team understands the value of it, and we try and shave every second. And if we're always in hustle mode, my attitude has been when we have a long wreck, it's more tolerable than if you're having a delay all the time for stuff that you shouldn't be having delays for.
No, totally. And that issue with Adam Plazik, you had to take the time to get those hay bales right. I mean, that's you can't shortcut that. You got to get and for Adam to get out of the car and get his wits collected. There were some vicious crashes.
Yeah, and I want to address the Adam Plazik deal. That wall has already been rebuilt. We put some extra blocks in place, some extra bales, and kind of changed the way that came together on that end. And we did it in 3 and 4 as well. So, always trying to improve things and make things better for our teams. If we notice we could be in a better spot. So that's what we went for. Once again, if you're just joining us, don't forget, as soon as we're done here in about 35 minutes, we go back to Rev TV Canada, where you'll catch Full Force on your dial, presented by G-Force TV, featuring the events we're talking about at Oshweekend Speedway from last Friday night. Adam, before we set up this weekend's race, Runway Energy brings us 4 great divisions of action again. Let's talk a bit about, fixing a mini stock. We got some good pictures sent to us from the Silvas about how, you use the old porta potty and some ratchet straps and fix the car. Spencer, pull that up if you've got it.
I think it's porta power.
Porta power. I said potty. Yeah, porta power.
I mean, you do.
That's
have
funny.
To take
Let me tell you why. Because we were dealing with Red Star Portas all day about planning for our major events. That's just a mind slip from the business I was doing today. Yeah, porta power. But yeah, these guys going to straighten out their cars. I seen a bunch of people come together for Nick Erskine and said they were going to start getting his car back together. Pinball, we'll see what's happening with his car.
They sent Nick a new car. Wade Thorne hooked him up with a new chassis, for them to swap whatever parts need swapping. It's an amazing community. And these are young people too. It's not like elder
That's a great
statesmen
point.
who've kind of been there, done that. They've gone through the trenches together. These are kids doing good things for other kids. And to me, a kid is anyone who's under 35. But they're young people, young adults, that money is not easy to come by, but they still see the value in helping each other out and going out of their way. It's a special group.
I love seeing second generation, Ashton Dickey, watches dad race for years, comes out, dad goes skidding through victory lane, and that was just some classic moments there, and great to see them all getting it done.
28th.
Um,
28th to first. That's badass.
I saw that.
15 laps.
That was awesome.
That's impressive.
For sure. The racing there has been amazing. Make sure you check it out coming off a rep. Let's jump into Jordan Buster now. Jordan is a spotter. He works with LP Dumoulin on the Pinty series. Danny Benedict on the APC series for some of the races. We got all kinds of stuff going on for him. And let's get him on here. So Jordan, I'm going to read you his resume here. Jordan is working with Lane Zardo for all the Quick Wicks, LP Dumoulin for all the Pinties, Danny Benedict for 6 of the 9 APC races, and doing a couple of races down south, including Portland for Xfinity this weekend. Jordan, welcome to the program. How's it going?
Hey, Clinton. Hey, Adam. Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
No, thanks for being here, Jordan. I want to talk about, like, people mention spotters, and I don't know if they get the full picture of how stressful, maybe not how stressful, how important your job is. How nervous do you get before a race?
Well, with me, it's funny. I find a lot of people that have probably taken on this kind of role, usually at first, they might be a little worried about it. You're almost relying the driver's life in your hands, essentially. For me, it's almost like, I'm a part of being the driver inside the car. Like, I have never done any type of oval racing myself, so this is what I found, that this was the closest opportunity that I could get to doing so. And for me, I love it. I enjoy it. I love being the like I said, the second set of eyes for the driver. And this is why I take every opportunity that I can get. I enjoy it so much, and that's what keeps my weekends occupied.
Jordan, you've been editing some spotter videos together. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. But, what's the reason for that? Is that to promote your services, to promote your teams, just give the fans an inside look? What's the thought process behind putting these together?
Well, honestly, it's more for entertainment purposes. I find, like, I had a few experiences with spotting between 2018 to about 2021. I left the industry for a while, and when I wanted to come back and be a part, especially the APC series and the Pinty series and Quick Wick, I wanted to kind of shake off the rust and, get some experience and kind of understand the terminology of everything again. So I was looking online for videos, like, say, NASCAR. You see those videos of, like, Radioactive every week after a race. There's some other clips out there, but there wasn't very many that was just focused on, like, one driver and one spotter. So I thought maybe that was a cool opportunity to kind of showcase that to other people, because be surprised, a lot of people don't really understand what a spotter really is. You could tell somebody, oh yeah, I basically talk to the driver throughout the race, but they still don't get that kind of key perspective of what that's like. So I wanted to provide that to everybody watching, of what a spotter really does for the race car driver. And so I felt like this would be a good opportunity to show that to the people, but also give good exposure for the APC series, Quick Wick series. I've been fortunate enough, even with NASCAR and TSN with LP, they've kind of showcased that as well every week after their Pinty's races. So that's what I wanted to provide, really, for entertainment purposes, really, and kind of give people that perspective of what a spotter's really like.
Now, every driver is a little bit different. You deal with Lane Zardo, Danny Benedict, LP Dumoulin. How do they differ? How does one differ from the other? Is there information one of them wants, but another one doesn't want to be bothered with?
Well, it's a good question, because, yeah, everybody's different the way you speak to them. Honestly, I guess I've been fortunate to where most guys that I've been able to spot with have understood most of what I try to tell them, or if they even bother listening to me, I could say whatever I want on the radio. A lot of times they may not even register what I'm saying to them anyways. It's just, a voice in their ear, I'd say, with guys like Danny and Elf and Lane, that's fairly they're fairly straightforward to talk to. Same with LP, except with them being in a French background. For me, I feel like I have to. There's a lot of times where he wants me to talk a little bit slower and a little more clear and precise on the radio, just so we can get the message across more clearly. But it's awesome. I enjoy spotting for all three of those guys, and guys like even I've spotted for Connor James, Wally Wilson, a couple other guys out there. I spotted for J.R. Fitzpatrick this past weekend. So a lot of times, for the most part, it's feeding them the right information, making sure I'm making them aware of their surroundings and all the information that they need throughout the race.
Let's take a quick look at some of Jordan's work. This is Jordan on the radio dealing with Danny Benedict in the video you would have seen, or the show you would have seen last week on Rev TV, them getting the win. Let's look at a couple clips.
By one, almost like a foul behind you. Now keep it nice and square to protect your tires, Danny. Keep giving me the gap. I'm going real easy. Copy, you're clear by 4, clear by 4. Still 5 back, 5 back. JR is all over Sheridan right now. They're double wide behind you, double wide behind you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really coming through on the podcast there, but basically at this point in the race, Danny's already leading the event, and I'm just trying to make sure he's aware of what's happening behind him with Sheridan and JR. And they're about 5 car lengths back in that case, so I just wanted to make him aware of what was happening behind him. And obviously, incident happening there off turn number 2 with the 94. So that eventually led to about halfway in the race there. And yeah, that was quite the event. Danny had a really, really fast car, and it just played right into his hands. Everything laid out perfectly for him in that event, and I'm really glad I was able to be a part of it.
I just want to show one more clip. Show the 9-minute mark there, Spencer, if you can. I believe this is where we're coming out of the break, and you guys are just getting rolling again, and just.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming to the queues this time by 89 on the bottom, 74 behind you. Sheridan and JR are lined up on the top with you behind the 74. Still a lot of laps, man. A lot of laps. Nice and smooth. Be patient. 75 to go. Ready. And green flag. Inside. Clear. Still all double wide behind you here. Clear by 5 now, clear by 5. Keep doing what you're doing. No pressure. Easy on the throttle. Sheridan and JR are still having a hard time here.
That's good, Spencer. Yeah, so I just think it's super cool that we can ride along with you guys, and we're going to try and develop that a bit on the live broadcast. Also, we were talking about that before we come on, but I think it's super cool that you take us along for the ride, and great job so far this season.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys letting me use the G-Force footage to begin with to allow me to put these videos together. I've been fortunate to, have this footage from you guys, the broadcast. Really appreciate you guys, along with Cale Thompson from Thompson Photography. He's had some onboard footage I've been able to utilize as well. That's really what's allowed me to put this all together is what you guys bring to the fans anyways. So I appreciate you guys having me a part of it and letting me do what I can with the spotting audio.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you at the racetrack soon.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Well, cool to see the inside look at him, and Jordan's been a good dude to work with for the past year or so. I like those videos. It's cool for us to go back because we kind of live those from all the different angles, and then you get to see that extra one too. So I actually love it.
Sometimes I try to think of what would 13-year-old Adam think of this or think of that, because I was I'm still a big race fan, but then if I could listen to a spotter and watched video I'd watch that all day. Like I would never get tired of it.
Yeah, we are kind of jaded, and that's when something strikes you, you're like, wow, this is cool because it's tough to kind of get your attention sometimes when we get going. While we wait for Matt Williamson to join us, Chase Elliott's out. Adam, what do you think of that? I don't know, Spencer. Do we have that clip? Spencer, if you have it, just roll it. Here we go. Did he wreck him? He wrecked him. Was it warranted? You decide.
Crowded chase, got into him, but they saw some retaliation.
Whoa.
Or did Keselowski get into the left rear corner of Elliott there?
There were a lot of
There
factors there, Clint, that you could mask that problem and say, oh, maybe I got hit from behind, maybe this, maybe that. It doesn't matter anymore because of the new format, the playoff format. You can make statements like this. You can park somebody for a week and it doesn't kill their whole year. Right? So, but what's interesting to me, so NASCAR has done this. They've done this twice now this year. They'll do it for actions on the racetrack, but they're not going to sit you down for punching somebody in the mouth.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. My concern is, like you said, well, now you can do it because you're not going to ruin their season. Well, it's either a penalty or it's not. And I think the big factor now is the telemetry, right? Because they can look at it and say he turned everything. He wasn't trying to save it. He turned left and stomped it, and the computers tell the truth. So, it's a shitty place to wreck them.
I agree a penalty is a penalty, Clinton, but the punishment has to fit the crime, right? Which is why over the years, NASCAR has never docked a winner. They have never disqualified the winner of a race because those victory lane photos are taken. The penalty has to fit the crime, and in their eyes, they always want to maintain the winner of the race because you can't undo it. You can't retake a victory lane photo. So there's always ways that they have to look at things and balance them out, but they're consistent. Like they just sat down the most popular driver in the sport. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a statement to say, hey, we don't care who you are if you're doing these types of things. I want to know how much of Denny's politicking caused it, because late that night, he was out there saying he can't race this week. They have to park him. And then the next morning it came out that he was sat down. So, I'm not sure how that works.
And to Dwayne's point, why is it okay to turn a driver for the win? There is a difference between hooking someone in the right rear and a bump and run. Even then spinning someone out, hooking someone in the right rear, it's like slew footing in hockey, right? It's just as bad as it can get. Like, it's not a penalty, it's dirty and unacceptable. So no, I think it's,
for me, I think the apex of the turn is where the bump and run becomes dirty or not. So if you hit me going in before the apex, to me that's dirty. If you have better drive and I'm in your way coming to the line and you can move me a bit, I'm okay with that. As long as I don't get total. But I mean, yeah, I was shocked the first race I did for the Pinty series. You go back in the day, and I said to you, Adam, how can they let this go? How do we not have brawls here? Because where I grew up in the city, they would just bring the toughest crew and fight their way back to the highway every week and wreck everybody for the wins, But hey, somehow it has a way of policing itself, and sometimes drivers have to police itself. Does that bring us to the Peter Britton video?
Sort of, but not. I don't like anyone hooking someone in the right rear. Having said that, if Chase Elliott feels that's what he needed to do to stand up for himself in that moment, I am for him not getting bullied. And he made it, his day was ruined. Denny Hamlin ruined his day by putting him into the wall. He ruined Denny Hamlin's day. I'm not saying it's okay to hook someone in the right rear, but I'm saying you do have to retaliate. If someone's going to push you around, you got to push back. Otherwise, they're going to push you around every week for the rest of your career. I wish he hadn't done it quite like that. That wreck reminded me a little bit of Davey Allison and Kyle Petty in the Winston 100 years ago. Just that quad oval's an ugly place to get turned because the angle of the walls get awful.
But
I
don't disagree.
I think I love what Peter Britton says in this clip because it's what we need from race car drivers. We need race car drivers to stand up and voice their opinions. I think he's wrong. In this case, in this video, I think he got it wrong.
Control car going to be the 21A of Peter Britton as they'll bring him off the corner. Green flag is out onto the speedway. Dipple and Britton with a hip check coming down the front stretch as Green is out. As they'll go up into turn number 1 and 2. And off the corner, Britton going to cross over as they head down the back straightaway.
Won the heat race. It's just a shame we got to race with, the biggest moron in racing on the racetrack, It's, and I don't say too much very often, but, you can walk around the whole pit area here and you'll probably find maybe 5 people that think Tyler Dipple can actually drive a race car. Yeah.
All right, Peter Britton going to roll off from the outside of the second row. Thank you, Pete.
Now, I can go with Peter's statement, but he's, Dipple has made a lot of moves over the years that are questionable. But I don't think that, I'm with you, Adam. I think Peter Britton came down on Dipple to start that race, chopped his door off. Can we see the start again, Spence?
So at Lebanon Valley, the pole sitter is on the outside of the front row.
But still, watch, he comes right across.
Right there.
He came down the hill.
Yeah, and Tyler's running as low as you can run without getting into the slop.
And even there, he cleaned him into 1. The 7 was clear of him into 1, didn't touch him. Play it one more. No, just from the start of the race, Spencer, if you can see it one more time.
Watch the car on the inside.
Slow it down if you can.
He was driving right where
you
would drive.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go any lower than he is. Look at the angle of Britton's car. And again, I love Peter Britton. I'm a big fan. A classy guy, fun guy to be around. He had something to say and he said it. I just happened to think in that instance he was incorrect.
I agree. I'm anxious to see what Matt Williamson has to say when he joins us here shortly. He races with these guys weekly. I'm a Peter Britton fan too.
Yeah, great guy. I'm going to agree with Alvers. I would be fine with an avoidable contact rule. You just police it. Be fair with everybody. And I agree. That's a great way to go racing.
No.
It just seems.
No, it's not.
That's not.
What we need in this sport is less judgment calls. We don't need to be having races dictated by guys like Doug Leonard. And bless Doug's heart. And there's nobody I want to go battle with more than Doug Leonard. But he will be the one to tell you he does not want to be deciding these races that way by having to make judgment calls. And then you set precedent, because you dinged Johnny last week, but you didn't ding Billy this week. It's a terrible way to be.
So with the no avoidable contact rule, Spencer, sorry to do this to you. Can you go back to the Chase Elliott situation? Would Denny Hamlin have been also parked? Did Denny first make avoidable contact with Chase, or was it just Arrow?
I think he crowded him.
That's avoidable contact.
But right there, we're fighting over, was that contact? I say that was not avoidable. How can I put it? That's not a penalty. That's not an avoidable contact penalty.
I think by definition, that's avoidable contact. Denny, sit him down, and obviously sit Chase down. Because he has to be in control of his car.
But wait a minute. But did he hit him? Can you, in a split-second instant...
Thank you, Spencer. For stopping it. Yeah, he was in his door.
Second. Ooh, that's a tough call, man.
And
that's a
Albers, you're absolutely right. It is tough to know. So I could debate either side of this, Clint. because I'm okay with where we are. I like the sport where it is. I don't want to see people get wrecked for a win, although it looked good on Jason Bowles back in 2009 in Montreal when he routed Andrew Ranger in the hairpin at Montreal. Ranger came out of nowhere in the last 3 turns, caught back up to him, and absolutely stuffed him into the tire barrier. But
I mean,
he was
Albers has a great point.
getting payback.
So they touched, but is that avoidable contact every time someone touches?
Well, yeah, if it leads to bad things for one of them, that's when you enforce avoidable contact. Yeah, it's a slippery slope regardless. It's fun to debate some of these things because I think so we can all agree that what Chase Elliott did was wrong and needed to be addressed. So it's nice to see that we do have common ground. Like even people who don't often agree can say, okay, that's wrong. We can't have that in the sport. But there's some things that are always going to be debated.
Cam Harris wanted me to mention the Ontario Sportsman Series coming up this Saturday night at Varney. So that's cool. Then we wish them the best. That series has kind of been battling back. Got some new interest and some new blood, and all those former Pinty's cars still have a lot of life left in them. I know you're a big fan of the package and how it races, and these cars are just basically the same thing with 602 crates, right? So quite a potential there.
So DM has an interesting point. He was getting off the gas. You could see the flames. Absolutely right. But that doesn't negate the fact, doesn't diminish the fact that even though he let off, his car was still out of control and sliding up the track. He needed to let off sooner, right? So if I swing a baseball bat because I want to break your leg, but I slow down at the last second, I still broke your leg. That's little consolation. But you're definitely right. Denny was off the throttle, flames coming out the exhaust.
Yeah.
And avoidable contact, to Rob Twitch's point, with the mini stock feature at Oshweekon opening night. Someone goes into the corner on the inside to make a clean pass. They hit a rut. They're airborne. They hit the car on the outside. Now, neither one of them won the race. It was heavy contact, but it was really just racing.
Still haven't seen Matt Williamson. I sent him a text. I know they were in the shop, so he said I gave him the option, the 8:05 or the 8:45 slide. He said 8:45 because I can work on my car longer. So I sent him a message. We'll see if Matt joins us here.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, I had a lot to talk to him about. A lot of times, Adam, when you see drivers, well, let's put it this way: a lot of teams have trouble getting one team to gel, but Matt's been able to roll multiple years with multiple teams. Sharing a lot of the same crew. And, it seems to me from the outside that, when he goes to some guys, he's got some primary crew. And then when the other team owner has his crew, those guys become secondaries, and they all tend to really gel together to keep pushing the 88, the 3, or the 6 to the front, no matter where they are. I also want to talk to Matt about Ransomville because, they've been having some struggles this year.
They definitely have. What makes Matty's success even more impressive is how much different a short track Super Series car is from a Super Dirt Car Series car. They both look the same, but it's a lot different setting up American Racer tires than it is Hoosier tires. Ask anybody who runs them. It's a different animal altogether, and it's tough to be good at both.
Yeah, and you and I both follow social media, and there's been a lot of chatter about how this new rear end suspension they've been running for the last few seasons now, maybe 2 to 3 years, has kind of changed the sport. And a lot of people are saying it's not for the better. And I'm interested to see what Matt's opinion is on that. If we can't get him tonight, we'll have to work on it for next week. But the other point to it was, the thing that I heard about these cars is the sweet spot is a lot tighter, and the guys that can grasp it can really lay a whipping on the guys who aren't grasping it. We saw that with Matt with a 17 or 18 second lead over the field at Weedsport on Sunday night.
I believe these cars make too much downforce. That's my opinion, Clinton. I just think there's too much body work on these modifieds. But you'd need to talk to someone much smarter than me to see if it's even feasible to remove any of it.
Well, I don't know. Maryville, they went the other way. They just went to sale panels. Let's talk about the Brian Stevenson Memorial, all the stuff we were going to talk to Matt about. Brian Stevenson Memorial comes up at him, and they have a unique format. They have a pole dash where the top 3 in each qualifying heat, who would normally go into the redraw, instead of redraw, it's a race-off, a one-lap dash, elimination dash. So whoever was supposed to go, so whoever finishes 3rd in heat number 3, you're 9th on the draw chart, gets to choose who they want to challenge in a one-on-one, and winner stays. I was talking to Doug Leonard about this the other day, and he was telling me the crazy thing is everybody wants to beat Matt, but they're all too worried to take him on head-to-head. So they leave him till the end. And Doug says these crazy guys, they're giving him a pole shot. They're giving Matt a front row race. So we are calling out to all you Maryville racers on Saturday. If you're in the pole challenge, call the 6 from the start, and you'll get 8 chances to get him off the front row. If you wait till the end, you got 1 chance, and he's still going to start 1st, 2nd, or 3rd the longer you wait.
Yep. I don't think it's neat. Good for them for trying to gimmick. I'm not a fan of the redraw anymore, unless there's interviews like the one Peter Britton gave, in which case I'd say do it every night.
So let me ask that question. Not in favor of the redraw, or not in favor of the redraw on the front stretch taking up time? Because they're two different situations.
Both. I think once upon a time there was entertainment value, and it probably began with Rush Hour on dirt. When they first went on real TV, it's good to get these drivers' faces, get some face time. But I think it's just, there's got to be a more entertaining way. There is a more entertaining way. Run dashes, there's just a pole shuffle, run these match races, these elimination races. You could actually run off the top 12 in elimination format faster than you could gather the drivers to do a redraw. And you're entertaining people. You're getting the crowd into the event.
In overall time, yes, but look at us last weekend. We just can't fit nothing else into the program.
No.
And so that's what happens in the background. We don't do the redraw. Pete. So let's look at that. The only reason we do an intermission is because we have staff that need to take a washroom break. We can't work for 5 hours straight some nights because they're out there from hot laps right through, right? So I'll actually ask Doug on the nights. I'll be like, hey, do we need a bathroom break? And someone will chime in, yes, we do, or no, we got it covered, keep going. And the other thing that came up to me this week, and Doug actually brought up and said we need to eliminate the top 3 interviews on the front straightaway. And I will defend those till the end, and not just because it's me doing them. I think that is a chance to get some great stories out there. The guy who goes 21st, the second, maybe, not to first like Ashton does. I want to talk to that guy more than I want to talk to Dylan Westbrook for the 50th time or Dave Bailey for the 70th time.
You know what I'd like to see, Clinton? A microphone stand and a microphone for the driver to step up to, and you step off to the side, get the camera person back. It concerns me. We do a great job. Like your team, the team under your direction and Spencer's direction is amazing. But I think all of these racetracks, I'm going to pick on Sunset a little bit. They do their driver interviews with the driver facing the backstretch. Blows my mind. Like, turn them to the fans. Like, you've got to get them that FaceTime. I'd love to see that, like they do with F1 drivers. Even they stand up to that microphone. What's the point of
it? These guys are awkward as it is when I'm standing there holding their hands. They're not going to step up to a microphone and show off anything on their own. And what's the point? What's the point? So we're not in the way.
I don't like a camera operator being between me and the person being interviewed. Me as a fan.
Okay.
I just see the camera operator's back.
But
I know it looks good on TV.
I'm just saying, from your vantage point, though, you're old as shit and can't see that shit anyways from there. You're just seeing a bunch of bodies out there. Who are you kidding? Now, if we were down in front of the grandstand, I'd say you got a point. But from where we are, we're just a bunch of blobs out there anyways, aren't we?
I would,
I'll do a better effort to film them from the side. How about that? I can adjust this for you.
No, listen, I'm not slagging. I'm just.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying
you see
I can work on that for you.
We go from track to track to track. It's better some places, it's worse some places. I thought what Flamborough did is an interesting idea in the infield. You're a mile away. You want that emotion as close as you can get it to the action, because that's what we're selling. We're selling the passion. And Alvers, I agreed. Having scales with a great big digital readout, Brighton Speedway does that. I think that's pretty cool. It's just not feasible at Oshweekon with the way things are laid out, but that is also a good idea. I'm done with tonight. I've agreed with Alvers like 3 times, and this is bullshit.
Well, let's wrap it up a couple minutes early. Everybody can go take a quick washroom break. Everybody can use their porta potties and their porta powers and get ready for tonight's Rev TV Canada broadcast from Oshweekon. So, thanks for hanging out with us on a Wednesday, no less. We're still going to try and get you a weekly show, even if it can't be on Tuesday. So stick with us. We're live Friday once again, and check out Rev TV Canada coming up here in just a couple moments' time.